So, hey, y'all, hey, and welcome to another session of Meditations with Marigny. So, this morning, I wanted to jump in and say if you like my messages, I would love for you to click like. I would love for you to share with a friend, and I would love for you to subscribe. This morning, I'm going to do two videos today. One of them, I want to talk briefly about. Um, just a update on the online dating, not necessarily an update, but an observation. And the observation is for those of us that are in the online dating pool. Remember, I was talking about sometimes you may suffer through dating fatigue, where you've been in the pool too long, or you have exhausted yourself from being in the pool. One of the things that I thought about is um, one person I was talking with, and they talked about, right now we're meeting each other's representative. And the interesting thing is that I corrected him and I said, no, you're not meeting my representative. You're meeting exactly who I am. And I think that the difference is in this world that we live in now, we all want to put forth our best effort. So, in other words, you want to show your best self. You want to show what qualities that you bring to the table as far as what could be offered to that person if you're serious about the dating process. Now, what I will say is, in my opinion, I would say about 75 to 80% of the people that are in the dating pool are not serious. Excuse me, are not serious about dating someone for a long-term relationship. So I do want to put that disclaimer out there. In my opinion, the majority of the people that are in the dating pool are just in there, they're just wading the water and they're playing around. Sorry. As soon as I started talking, my throat started getting scratchy. But I think that 75 to 80% of the people that are in the dating pool are not in there for a serious relationship. So, in that factor alone, the first group of people that you meet, which means that if you're in there for the long haul, if you all recall, I said that I paid for 6 months and that I would be on there for 6 months. The only way that I could see that changing is if I met somebody and he was attentive enough. And I'm not talking about love bombing. I'm talking about someone who was strongly interested in a relationship and we met. We're that 25% or that 20% that met at the same time. So initially, I talked about making sure that you set your expectations where they're reasonable. The reasonable component for me was that I never thought that I would meet someone in a month's time. And I think that there is a high possibility that I might meet my person early on in the online dating process, but they may not come around until closer to the end portion of me being in the dating pool. And excuse me, and that's partially because it's good for people to vet to see what else is out there, to see what else is a good fit for them, and to also vet me to see whether or not I'm a serious candidate for um, relationship and marriage. So, when we think about the process of dating, it is not an easy process. One person I was speaking with, and I shared with them that back in the day, we would exchange phone numbers, and a lot of people are real funny about somebody coming to their house now. I do understand that we have to be more secured about that. But, the dating process was sitting at the house and watching television. The dating process was the person coming to dinner and spending time with your family. So that's how you got to know that person. And then the other component was spending time on the telephone. So you can't be afraid to come off the app or to move in a different direction as far as conversation goes. Because that's the only way that you're going to get to know someone, especially in this day and time. Pretty much, I can talk to someone one or two times and I will know whether or not, one, they're even going to call me back again. And it doesn't have anything to do with necessarily me. It just has a lot to do with once they vet me and they find out that I'm not a fun girl, I'm not the hurry up and jump in the bed kind of girl, that I'm not going to be one that they can run game with or things like that. They have a whole 80% or 75% of other women that are interested in that component. And so, I think that we must look at what are we really desiring in the dating pool when we get in it. And then we can't alter what our expectations were for that. So many of the guys that I've met have said, I'm looking for a serious relationship and I want something serious, this, that, and the other. But, as we continue to talk, I can hear that no, they really are not. They are looking for something quick, fast, and in a hurry, and possibly I be a part of that turnaround that they've already been in. And because I'm not a part of that cycle, then I don't fit the mold. And that's okay, because I'm good with being in what I would consider the 10 or the 20% over here. And when you know that, and when you understand that, I'm not in a rush to get anywhere fast, but I do know that God will move quickly. And so I'm not concerned about whether or not there is a high turnover, because that's kind of what I anticipated when I joined the site, that there would be that process. And then there are those that are going to loop back, they gone for 2 or 3 weeks and then they come back and they like, hey, what you doing? Because guess what? They're in the dating pool. So they had to go get what they needed, and then, or they had to go get what they wanted. And then they, look at coming back to get what they actually need. And the thing is, when you want something long term, it's going to look different than somebody that's looking for a quick fix. So if you want a long term relationship, when I listen to some of these ladies that are on the pink pill side of the world, and I listen to some of these men that are on the red pill side of the world, I'm not interested in either one of those types of relationships. And I'm not interested in, just in general, treating another human being the way that I hear those communities talk. Forget about male female relationships, forget about relationships, period. I am interested in treating human beings right. And when you are interested in that, then you fall in a different category anyway. Because even with me working in the education field and seeing the components that my students, the body of children that I am engaged with, it is difficult to help them to understand the basic source of humanity. Like how should you treat this person? How should you speak to them? Why would you call them out of their name? And when I tell you, like, it is just common for children to mistreat each other nowadays. Back in the day, it used to be you might have had 1 or 2 students in the school that might have done that. Now it is a cultural process. It is a norm to the culture. And when it becomes a norm to the culture, then it is normalized that it's okay to mistreat one another. And so even when I look at us as adults in my age bracket, that 45 to 65-year-old age bracket, we weren't raised that way. But we have begun to, and when I say we, I'm saying culturally, we have begun to respond just like the rest of the world. And we have begun to participate in the mistreatment of others just like the rest of the world. So as far as my update, as far as it pertains to online dating, I would say continue to walk out the pathway that you started. I'm very pleased with the way that things are going for me. And I am okay with the guys that I've met that, have shown interest. And I'm very pleased with the pace that I am moving at in order to get to know them and allow them to get to know me. And I'm also very pleased with the fact that some of them have even expressed, I can appreciate you being so honest up front, because I don't have time to waste anybody's time. And I don't even have the capacity to pretend. Like that takes a lot. That takes a lot of effort to pretend to be something that I'm not. If I am me every day and I am me 24/7, then I can always be me. I can show up as her every day and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't change anything. Every day I'm going to be the same. And every day I'm going to be able to present that representative, because that's who I actually am. So, it was interesting when I corrected the young man, and he said, well, wow, I never had anybody to correct me that way. And I said, no. And my position for you is that you don't show me just your representative. Let me see your ugly parts, and let me see them early. And let me see them early, because then that tells me, tell me what you think your greatest flaw is. So then that gives you the opportunity to say, hey, Marigny, because you have this flaw, I really don't think that I could deal with that. But if you got this flaw, then, yeah, that don't bother me as much. I just think that there is a community of people, and it's a small community, but there is a community of people that would like to genuinely meet someone, genuinely connect with someone, and genuinely have some lifelong relationships. So I want to just tell you to remain encouraged. Do not give up on the process. Remain true to who you are. Assure that you are being authentically you. And regardless to what society has told you and what it has fed us, I want you to know that there is a pool of people that are looking for those people on the other side. So if nothing else, guys, that's not my bell. I'm early, but that's the first bell to let us know that it's time for the students to start entering the building at some point. So I think that's what that bell is. Well, yeah, looking at the time. So I just want to let you guys know, don't be discouraged. Remain encouraged. Know that, God is still with you, and be prayerful. Like this morning on the way in, I didn't call anybody, didn't talk to anybody. I just prayed. So if I seem a little bit more demure, if that's the word, demure, if I seem a little bit more laid back, that's why, because I just prayed on the way in. My heart has a few things on it, and I just needed God to kind of just speak this morning, not just about those relationships, but about some others, and about some other things that I'm faced with and dealing with. And so I just wanted to come on and let you guys know that I'm still connected and that I'm still in the vein, and I want to continue to offer the online dating advice. But just stay true to who you are. That's the best thing that we can do, any of us. We can remain true. Sorry, guys, I got a call coming in. We can remain true to who we are, and God will continue to bless that. So if you like my videos, I'd love for you to click like. If you love it, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, and I would be honored if you would subscribe. Have an awesome day. Bye.